I'm Alex Jones. Hope you've had a lovely weekend. Now, Strictly Come Dancing may well be a distant memory, but tonight's guest has been reliving it night after night after night after night, right up to last night, in fact.
Yes, directly from the Strictly Tours triumphant climax. It's a hopefully not too exhausted Stacey Dooley.
Oh my God!
The champ's in. The champ is in.
That is it. This was my cha-cha.
And this is what we spoke about. Not good.
My week.
Not good.
It's not my week.
Honestly.
From Craig, I was mortified.
Your cha-cha is way better than my cha-cha.
I promise you. I just remember thinking this needs to end immediately.
Oh, it's a hard one.
Yes.
But congratulations. I mean, you won. We haven't seen you since I've seen you, but we haven't seen you here on television, have we? And then the tour. I mean, what happens with that? Because you get a glitter ball again on that.
So the tour, no, I didn't win it. So the tour was Joe and Diane, and you know they just totally smashed it, just completely dominated it. They were incredible. You know, it's such a brilliant partnership.
Was that hard to take? Was it hard to take?
No, it was all right. I'd sort of had my moment. You know what I mean? I'd had my time on the show, so I felt like it was. Yeah, it was their time.
You've got a trophy.
That's it.
How many do you need?
Well, this is it. You don't be greedy.
But nice to take your dancing off around the UK. It's quite something, isn't it? You end up living this kind of nocturnal existence, don't you?
Do you know what was lovely? I think as well, you know what it's like when you're on the show, you're in this bubble and it's all consuming, and you don't realise how much people love the show. There's such ownership over it. It's the nation's biggest show, you know what I mean? So you sort of go to the arenas and there's babies there, and they're so excited and they've got their banners and it's this new generation coming through and you just feel so lucky to be
It's quite wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's magic. It's such a great show.
Well, you know, the last time you were here, I think you'd just done quite a colourful celebration, and the fact that you've got through to the next week.
When was that?
Well, it was a couple of weeks ago. But you were absolutely over the moon. And actually feeling that love and all of that adoration with those people that ring up and say, we want you to see you again next week. Anyway, this sort of led to a reaction of other wonderful celebrations that you were doing as you got through to the week we're seeing here.
You at home to send in scenarios and be as low-key as the Dooley.
That's right.
And that would result in you doing a Dooley. So what we've got, 2 examples, and then you can send us scenarios where you would react in a similar way.
Okay.
So for example,
for me, this is me finding out it's bangers and mash for tea.
Now, this is a very different one. It's when you think you've got your children to bed, but then they wake up again.
So those are your 2 scenarios.
Yeah, send them in and we will show them at the end of the show.
Okay, so are we done with Strictly now?
Do you know what's interesting? Just very quickly with that, I remember actually being mindful that the cameramen were panning out every time I was about to get announced because they knew I couldn't be trusted to stay in the one spot. So yes, you've got that.
Yeah,
You've hit
ever the professional, you started to get closer and closer with your reactions as the weeks went on. But we're going to be digging into Stacey's filmmaking career tonight, and we've got some of our audience evening.
Awesome.
All right with you?
Don't know how helpful I'll be, but I'll certainly try.
Oh, they're very probing, very probing. But right now, it's time for our first film of the week, and it's something Stacey's bound to have something to say about, and we hope you too will at home, The Class Divide. Yeah,
this particular one was made up of bricks and mortar. It's unbelievable.
Well, it is hard to believe that an actual wall was built.
Well, you would think other countries maybe. Here, surely not.
No.
There's the I could imagine you as a little kid, though, throwing snowballs or
I'll get them, Mum. Don't worry about it.
Not snowballs, bricks.
No.
She's read the book. No, I know, it's a bit disheartening that, isn't it? Especially as it's happened so recently. Yeah. And it's true, you know, whether you like to sort of admit it or not, some people just don't like living near estates. They just don't. There's them sort of preconceived ideas, which is...
Yeah, that mindset can still be there, can't it? But you mentioned the book then, and yes, it does say at the beginning how you got into this industry that you're now, I mean, such a big part of. 70 documentaries in 10 years. But you say, you know, at the beginning, it was quite hard to feel that you had a place there because it was quite middle class, it was quite posh, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And suddenly there was a girl from Luton.
That's it. And I think as well, everyone was just a bit confused. Like, so it was over a decade ago. I started when I just turned 20, 32 in March.
Nothing.
So hanging on to the BBC 3 demographic. I'm hanging on for dear life. But yeah, I think everyone was just a bit out of sort. They were just sort of, they couldn't quite comprehend that I'd been married to these sort of current affairs-y documentaries. And it was the guy, sort of Danny Cohen, who was in charge at the time, and he was just so brave, actually. And just said, no, I think that's sort of, she's quite inquisitive and she's got something to say and she's curious, sort of nosy. I'm going to sort of commission 2 60 minutes. And they rated well. And it was nice as well. It's sort of a split camp. Some people were thinking, what on earth is going on? But others were like, oh, she's a total sort of breath of fresh air. Yeah, we're quite having her. So.
And actually, how much then are you surprised by what you've gone on to do, and how much are you satisfied by what you've achieved? Because obviously you've got a lot of self-belief and you believe in what you think.
Yeah.
So how much of it is kind of, oh, I can't believe this is happening, and how much of it is actually, yeah, this is what I really am passionate about?
Probably a mixture of the two, if I'm honest, Matt. Like, it's, you know what it's like, we sort of all speak about imposter syndrome. Sometimes I do think, how on earth have I found myself here? You know, if I'm at these really sort of highbrow events and they're asking my opinion on sort of quite political things, I think, but also I've worked really hard. So I think as long as you sort of dig your heels in and you work hard and you put the hours in and you try your best, there's no reason that you can't.
And I think, you know, the reason people admire you is because you are not scared. You put yourself...
It's stupidity more than bravery. It is.
You put yourself in situations... Oh, my goodness.
I'll go. Yeah.
One of the, you know, we'll talk about some of the more, you know, with the girls later on, but one of the examples is when you did one about the borders in Mexico. It was very hardcore. We've just got a clip here that kind of introduces those that haven't seen it to your work, and that's why people love your style.
It was the craziest trip, that. So we were in Mexico for a while, you're right, and then we were in Honduras. And Honduras was really interesting at the time because we were looking at the sort of femicide rates, which was sort of, it was, at that time, it was the world's worst place to be a woman outside of a war zone. And the levels of brutality against women was just staggering. So we were sort of over there, San Pedro Sula, trying to sort of figure out why that was the case. And there was this kind of toxic obsession with masculinity, you know what I mean? It was like, if I don't take control of this situation and I'm not sort of fiercely manipulative and I don't sort of show her who's boss, obviously not everyone, but certain guys, then what am I?
You don't feel like a man.
Yeah, it was mad. It was
unbelievable, the experiences that you've had, actually, and how
really lucky.
You're now being shaped as a woman. When you were saying you were young there, and you suddenly got all these extraordinary things that you're actually witnessing, and how that must now shape you.
It's mad, and I think as well, travel's such a beautiful thing to be able to do. No, I was never sort of particularly academic, or I was never a real intellect at school. There was no real kind of appetite there. I left school at 15, no GCSEs, didn't go college, didn't go uni.
And look at you now. And
I know, don't do that, kids. Don't listen to me.
That's what, exactly. Dimbleby said lovely things about
I can't made up with that. I couldn't believe it.
But if you're intrigued about something, that's all you need, isn't it?
I think you just
You're asking the questions that people want to know.
And I think as well, sort of not sort of, you know, you don't want to be too preachy or too wordy or too earnest, just sort of quite, you know, inquisitive.
Well, we've got some inquisitive
in
our audience, which we'll get to very shortly. But you said just very quickly, you're going home on Thursday. Dates, everyone, for your diary. It's Valentine's Day, for goodness sake, on Thursday. Do not forget. I'm on theme already. And it just seems that the run-up to the most romantic day of the year has caused a surge in the number of couples getting engaged. Well, at least that's according to one shot.
Now then, we have the ring here. Well, one of them, because you can get different designs, look. So, look, if I hold it up to camera 3, can we see it there?
No problem at all with that. I don't think money should ever get in the way of a nice, generous, lovely gift.
No, I know, but when you find out, if somebody's open that it was £1, I think that's lovely. And, you know, it's something to hold until you get the proper one. But if you found out 10 years later it was £1, I'd be annoyed.
Yeah, of course. But the point is that actually, for me, it's a celebration of the fact that you are, you know, you've made this commitment to each other. The ring's kind of irrelevant. It's the fact that you're there as a couple and you're showing everybody in public that you've got this commitment.
I sort of don't mind that at all, actually.
It's all right, isn't it?
The reaction on the streets was actually quite simple, elegant. People didn't mind it.
People these days, don't they? They buy a ring that kind of you just have until you choose a different one. That's what we did. I didn't have.
Yeah, but then it becomes so sentimental that actually you don't want another one because it doesn't matter what it's worth. It's about what it means.
For the boy then, if they bought it for £1.
It's not what it's worth. It's what it means.
I know.
Let's tell our audience here.
Yeah, go on.
Any sort of.
Was it important to you?
I agree, though. If it turned your finger green, you've got an issue. It's time now to catch up with Mike on the west coast of Wales on the hunt for the bottlenose dolphin.
He's going to see them. He never lets us down. There's no Mike.
Never.